Good morning, fellow Democrats with a small d and a large D. It's great to be here with you today. Oh, I have so much I want to say in just a few minutes, but I'm going to give you 3 tools to use that will serve you well when you're getting questions about elections issues. The first one is what to say to people who are demanding that we have photo ID. And you know that in the last year we've had nationally 1,000 bills in 46 states, and we have 24 new photo ID laws. So most of us in this room probably have a photo ID, and if we go to rent a video, we use it, and if we go to board an airplane, we use it, although you don't have to have a photo ID to board an airplane. I wouldn't recommend you try that, particularly unless you have a lot of time. But it's not required. But here's the answer. How many people are you willing to disenfranchise in order to stop one person from voting who shouldn't? Because it's a big ratio. It's a big ratio. This is a discussion we would not be having if everybody had a photo ID. We have this discussion only because there's a demographic difference among the roughly 8 to 12% of us who don't have photo IDs. They tend to be poor, they tend to be urban, you don't need a driver's license to ride the bus, and they tend to be elderly. They've given up their driver's license, and they especially tend to be low income and urban. And guess how low income urban voters tend to vote? Democratic. So you can understand how it is that our friends on the other side of the aisle may be interested in requiring everyone to have a photo ID. But I speak a lot in high schools and colleges, and I just call this one the way I see it. This would not be an issue if everybody had a photo ID. Don't shy away from it. This is pure partisan politics in a way that's intended to undermine democracy, and we have to stand up for what's right. And we do in California. Second thing is much easier. It's Illinois. I grew up there. You don't pronounce the S on the end. And if we have a president from Illinois, in California, we don't want to be saying we have a president from Illinois. Third thing is, what do you say when somebody says, well, gee, I do my banking online, how come we can't vote online? Well, I wish we could, for starters. It would be a lot easier. I would love it if everybody could vote online. But I have to look not just at what's convenient, but what has integrity in the system. Because, I ran for this office for 2 reasons, Florida and Ohio. With the promise that California would be the beacon of liberty. Never mind the statue in the harbor on the East Coast. We're the ones who are showing the rest of the country how to do elections and voter registration. So anybody know what the error rate is for ATMs? Actually, none of us do, because like many voting systems, the software is privately owned and they don't have to tell us how many mistakes they make. Let's assume it's 0.5%. Are you willing to live with a 0.5% error rate in elections? Okay, so I guess we won't be voting online anytime soon. You know, we could do this if we had an unlimited amount of money to spend on it. I would rather spend the money getting people registered, making sure that the elections have integrity, and dealing with the counting process so that we know that every ballot is counted exactly as it was cast. When I first came to this podium as a candidate for Secretary of State, I told you I would do a top-to-bottom review of voting systems. I did that. I came to the conclusion that many of the systems we were using in California, I could not guarantee the integrity of the results because it would be too easy for somebody to hack the system. And so we discontinued using most touchscreen voting machines. Though there are still millions of dollars worth of touchscreen voting machines in some counties and warehouses, and I still get asked in some counties, when can we start using these again? I recommend that while the price of scrap metal is high, they take advantage of that. because we're not going to vote in California in a way that gives us any question about whether the results are appropriate. And that means we're going to continue to vote using that old, boring, cheap technology called fill in the bubble. Something that gives us a record to look back on so that we know what happened and we can go back and look at it. So that's done. We handled the voting systems. I promised I would try to work to get everybody registered who's eligible to vote, to give everybody opportunities to vote, and to count every ballot as it was cast. And P.S., we've developed a new world-first auditing system as the suspenders to the belt that we already had on voting systems. Voting opportunities, education we've been working on, we had 735 schools and 275,000 high school students participate in the My Vote mock election with Superintendent Tom Torlakson. That's a lot of students who now will know how to vote. That needs to be followed up with something I need your help on. Senator Hannah Beth Jackson's SB 113, which would pre-register 15, 16, and 17-year-olds when they go to the DMV to get that learner's permit or driver's license. I need your help with this. We have to make this the law in California. I want as many people registered automatically because they've had some other contact with government as we can. It reduces our error rate. It cleans up our rolls, and it gets more people participating in their democracy. So I need your help with SB 113. And I need your help with one other thing. I can't fix any problems in democracy that I don't know about. If you're aware of a problem on election day, before election day, a problem with a signature on a ballot, anything, please call me, email me, fax me. We even open envelopes with stamps on them still in our office. But I need to know what's going on so that I can continue to improve our system. I'm really sorry there are term limits because I have a lot more things that I want to do. But we are on the way. We got our online voter registration out last fall, 3.5 weeks before the deadline, and we got almost 1 million people registering to vote online with no paid advertising. You were part of that. I know you were. You forwarded that link to everybody you knew. You bugged people and bugged people and bugged people. I want you to do it again. This is how we're going to transform our democracy. I'm not going to do it. You're going to do it. I'll give you the tools. You use them. Together, we will change California, and we will show the rest of the country how to run a true democracy. And along the way, we're going to eliminate questions about health care and education, because if we got everybody eligible, registered and voting, those policies would be law in California. So let's go for it. Thank you.